Hello, I'm Bood and welcome to episode 2 of Wonderkid Wanderers. As always, thanks for joining me. Make sure you hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, go and check out my content, you know what to do. And if you really want to help the channel out, you can always become a patron. That is massively appreciated. Links to that down below in the description. So, episode 2, it's been a while, I think, over a week, maybe a week since episode 1, where I built this team, put 46 Wonderkids in there. I used a very popular website's lists of the best youngsters. Took about 5, 6, maybe 7 players from each position. There was 46 players in all. Skipped a few like Haaland, Jude Bellingham, Greenwood. They didn't make it. But 46 players was quite a lot. Put them in a team with a Wonderkid manager, Luke Skywalker, and Elon Musk as the owner. And we had a quick look at the team. I think we did a season. But what I've done now is, for those of you who are watching, you must be interested, is I've jumped forward another 10 years to when all these players are going to be like 27, 28, 29, maybe even 30. You know, in the peak years, we'll see how well they've done, who did rise to the top, who's become the true superstars of the future, and how did the club do? Well, that's what we're going to look at first. Did Wonderkid Wanderers build a dynasty, or did they crash and burn? Let's find out. Well, here we are with Wonderkid Wanderers. It is now the 1st of June 2032, and unfortunately, Luke Skywalker isn't the manager anymore. How long did he stay? Did he get sacked? Did he move on? How's his club done? The Wonderkids who play at the Play Centre. I was expecting that even though some players would leave, they would go on and just win trophy after trophy after trophy. In what, 11 years in total? All they've managed, disappointingly, is one FA Cup and a UEFA Europa Conference League. That's not great, is it? That's pretty shit. So if we go onto their general page, we can see here, you know, they started slow, but there were a bunch of youngsters who were all really, really young, and they did climb up. Finished 7th, 6th, 3rd, got all the way to 2nd, nearly reached the promised land of a Premier League trophy, and then they've crashed. 9th, 11th, 10th, 13th. Wow. So, is that where they kept a lot of the players? Is this the point? They sold a lot on and they couldn't bring the players back in. I made the club big enough to be a top club, money-wise and everything. Billionaire, rich owner, lots of commercial income. But it's not really worked out for the club that way, has it? So let's check in on the manager history. And Luke Skywalker has stayed in the job for 3 and a bit years. And he is the manager that won them trophies. The FA Cup and the Conference League. And then Elon Musk, even though I made them best mates for life, brothers from another mother, sacked his best friend. Wasn't good enough. He thought, you know what? I'm bringing in someone who's going to win me endless trophies. And he brought in Pep Guardiola, who lasted nearly 3 years. And then he sacked Pep. Wow. Then he brought in Xavi, who's a good little manager in this game. He lasted just, what, a year? He got the sack. I mean, he's gone big time with managers, really, hasn't he? Thomas Tuchel sacked, and now he's got Jamie Robinson, a regen manager, who, let's be honest, is a bit good, isn't he? He's worked his way up through the club. He was head of youth, he's been caretaker manager 3 times, and now he's finally got the job, although he's interim manager. But let's be honest, I'd give him the job there, wouldn't you? Give him the job. So they're in the process of looking for yet another manager, and they've had some superstars. Now I have created a shortlist. We're going to look at that in a minute of all the players, and we'll see where they're all at on that page. I just want to quickly go through the years to see what kind of money they've spent. I mean, 171, that's not a bad year. 77, you could probably see names here if you've got a very fast eye of who's left. And they would have obviously brought in players. They set the club to only buy youth. I don't know if they went down that road. I wanted it to be based on youth. Everyone's focus was on that. I mean, they just spent a ton of money there, haven't they? But they recouped quite a lot as well. Is anyone still here? Well, this is the shortlist of all 46 players that started out at Wonderkid Wanderers. And only one player is still there. And that is Harvey Elliott. And there's some stuff going on with Harvey. What's going on? He's leaving. So he's joining Barcelona this summer. Once he's gone, all the originals are gone. So what I want to do is I'm going to show you who I think became the best 11. I'm going to do 4 at the back, 2 in midfield, an AMC, 2 wingers and a striker. That's what I'm going for. We might look at a few others as well. But I have looked at each position and I'm going to tell you my opinion, who I think became the best player. And out of the 4 goalkeepers, I'd say Martin van der Voort, who's now 30 years old, the Belgian, only got 10 caps, is the best. And none of them really became, I mean, out and out superstars. I mean, these are the goalkeepers, as you can see, and we've got a lad at Valencia, Real Sociedad, and someone's out in the middle of nowhere playing there. So yeah, when it came to the goalkeepers, disappointed really. I wouldn't say there's any out and out superstars. Probably best waiting for a regen one or get an old legend. At right back, my favourite, there was 3 of them, is this lad, Mr. Timber. I'm not going to try and pronounce his first name, who's currently playing at Chelsea. He left Wonderkid Wanderers in 29. A lot of them stayed quite a long time, I'll be honest with you right now. They just couldn't get it together as a team, which is very strange. Now, these are the 3 right backs that started out the club. I mean, Tino, he looks pretty good, but I just think the other lad's better, personally. And then there's this chap here who's currently at Real Madrid, who's very good as well, 31-year-old American. But my money's on Timber. At left back, easily the best out of all of them was Alphonso Davies. I think he turned out to be the best player. He's now at Newcastle. I mean, Newcastle are rich. He left Wonderkid Wanderers in 27, so he stayed quite a while. But the Canadian man, I think he's a cracking player. I mean, we've got some more here, as you can see. I'd say he's not bad. Where's he at? Juventus. He turned to a very good player, 30-year-old Croatian. Quite like him. But yeah, Alphonso Davies. Now, I mean, with this kind of thing, I'm not trying to show you these so you can maybe sign them, but maybe you can look at it, and if you've got the money, if you're playing a save with a big team, maybe you can get them. But do you know what? I'm so disappointed. I thought they'd come together as a team, especially when you see how long a lot of them stayed there. It's so surprising they couldn't get it together when they were like 23, 24, 25. He should have stayed with Luke Skywalker. He'd have done it. Easily, I think personally, easily the best centre-half to come out of it is Wesley Fofana, the Leicester lad, who left in 28. So you see, they've been, a lot of them only been gone a couple of years, but I think he's easily the best centre-half. But there are a lot of other good ones. We'll check in on a couple. Benoit, he didn't do too bad. He's now at Leicester. He left in 24, so he left quite early. Who's the most expensive? Tanguy. He's at Monaco. He left in 26. I think he turned out pretty good. Carbone. I love that name, Carbone. It's great when you've got a Mancunian accent in it. Let's look at defensive midfielders, actually, because Eduardo Camavinga ain't too bad. He left in 31. He only left last year, so he spent majority of his career at Wonderkid Wanderers. But what a player he's turned out to be. He's now at Chelsea. Another couple of good ones, I'd say, is Angelo Stiller. He looks pretty tidy, got no face, 31-year-old German. Got home to Bayern. When did he go then? He's been at a few clubs after he left Wonderkid Wanderers. Hoffenheim, Paris Saint-Germain. And I think Nicola Ravella, now at Bayern as well. God, they got 2 good defensive midfielders there. He left in 25, joined an average team, so it wasn't working out for him. He couldn't get in the side. And this is what I mean. I wanted to see survival of the fittest, who'd rise to the top in the club. And then some of them weren't going to play. Would that affect him? Could some of them go on and still kick on? And I think this is one of the lads that's done that. Onto central midfield or attacking midfield as well. And out, I think attribute-wise, out of all of them, is Pedri. 29 years old now. He only left 2 years ago. Look how good he is. Went to Manchester City. Boo. Let's look at a couple more. We've got Jamal. He looks pretty tidy. He's at Paris Saint-Germain. He went to Manchester United in 25. Left in 25. Went Man United. Played for quite a lot. He played quite a lot for Wonderkid Wanderers, to be fair. Now he's at Paris Saint-Germain. This kid has turned out to be some player. Again, he looks like he won't get in the team, I don't think. He's gone to Freiburg. Ended up going to Dortmund. Not playing too much. Now he's at Newcastle, but he's still fleshed out into a really good player. Who else do I want to look at? Gavi. He's quite good on this game, isn't he? He's not bad. Need to get his face sorted out. He's at Newcastle. Newcastle now, it's weird, isn't it? It's still weird when you go into the future on Football Manager and you see Newcastle with superstars, because no offence, but it wouldn't have happened, would it? Until the takeover. On the left, I think there's going to be no question with this. He's a -10. There's only a couple of -10 players, which if you don't know what that means, when you create a player or you got a player in the editor or in the game, they can have a potential ability and you can lock it in if you want and put it on like 200 or 199. Or if you want it to develop more organically, more naturally, you put a minus in front of it, so you can have -10 is the best, or you can have a -9.5, and then it goes down to -9, then it's -8.5. So he was a -10 player, and he is some player, and he's at Chelsea now. I mean, and he didn't go till last year either. Chelsea have waited and then just cherry-picked some of the best players, haven't they? Chelsea should be freaking awesome. On the right, I quite like this lad, mate. There's a lot of good players, but I quite like him because I don't know too much about him. He's a Mexican. He came from Mold before Wonderkid Wanderers. He left 4 years ago. Been at Barcelona now for quite some time. But yeah, because I like it. Because I don't know about him at all, really. He could be a right little pickup. So each time I'm doing it, I'm hopefully showing you the attributes, the key attributes for their role. If they're a defender, I've got it on defensive. If they're an attacker, I've got it on attacking. But let's have a look at a few others. Who's Yusuf? Oh, he's the kid with the ears, isn't he? He's not bad though, is he? The Austrian. Now playing at Real Sociedad. So, I mean, some of them are a bit disappointing. Harvey Elliott looks like a decent player, doesn't he, to be fair? The last sole survivor is now jumping ship and joining Barcelona. Attacking wise, easily the best player at Wonderkid Wanderers was Yusufu Mikoku. I can never say his name properly. Some player though. And he went Brentford on me, Brentford beta, played him on the right, even though he's left footed. He is easily the best striker, and he is one of the very few -10 potential players at the start of the game. Still only 27 years old. This kid's got years ahead of him. Will he fulfill his potential? Football Manager thinks he's going to become amazing. So he wasn't really getting in the team or really scoring a lot of goals at Wonderkid. And then he went to Marseille, did very well. And now he's been at Barcelona for the last couple of years. Let's check a few more, and we've got Karim. He's a good little player in this game. Looks solid. He's now at Inter Milan. He left years ago. He only stayed for 2 years. Again, he wasn't scoring a lot. They cashed in, and he's been at Inter Milan now for 10 years. Wow. But when you look at these attributes, not a lot of them have become great. Now, this is one player I wanted to check out, Lorenzo Luca. Because I know Lorenzo Luca, 6'7", superstar, who in my Bologna rebuild this year, I signed from Pisa. And I turned him, he was better than that. He was better than that. Because I played him and he just became prolific. He's a big lad. But if you play him, he turns into a great player. So he's not really worked out for him. He looked like he went to City, didn't work out, went to Sheffield United, he's now at Everton. He can be, with the right guidance and game time, a much better player than that. A quick look at some of the lads I didn't pick. For different reasons, they're just the usual. So I didn't want to use Mason Greenwood. I left him at United, maybe because I'm a United fan. But he turns into a good player. He's 30 years old. And on here, he's spent his entire career at United. But it looks like he only gets a goal every 4 games. This is the main guy, innit? He goes everywhere. I've seen him go to every club on a million different saves. Paris, Barcelona, Real Madrid, United, Chelsea, Liverpool. He always goes somewhere. And because he is like the main guy, and he is top of that list as well on that website as the best young striker on the game, I didn't want to use him. I've left him to do what he wants to do. So he stayed at Dortmund till 23, and now he's been at City for 9 years. Great, and scores a lot of goals, but we all know this about him, don't we? We all know he's one of the best. Another player that I missed out on the list is Jude Bellingham, and might be fun doing a Dortmund save with them 3. Mikuku, Bellingham and Haaland, because they are 3 of the highest potential players on the game when you start it. He left Dortmund in 27. Now he's been at Chelsea. Chelsea have got some talent, haven't they? But he's turned into a world-class midfielder. Now, one player I didn't add because he wasn't high up in the list, but a player that's kind of sneaked through, and on paper as well, I wouldn't say he screams out to me like a complete superstar. It's this lad now. I mean, finishing 16's okay. He's off the ball's amazing. Composure's really good. He's not the quickest of strikers. But he's had a fantastic career at Paris Saint-Germain. And he's just won the Ballon d'Or, beating Foden, who's another young player I didn't decide to use because he plays for Manchester City. But yeah, Mbappe, another one I didn't want to use. He turns into a good player, doesn't he? We all know all that. But yeah, them two like the new... Well, they're predicting, aren't they, the new Messi, Ronaldo battle for the Ballon d'Or. Salah down here won it first few years. But yeah, Phil Foden, did he turn into a good player? He's not bad. Elite attacking midfielder. Spent his entire career at City, so fair play to him for staying loyal. 32 years old. Now then, this is the young player award, isn't it? And no one ever won it in the first few years while they were at Wonderkid, maybe because they weren't playing European football. So that year, is it Nuno Mendes? He's a player we missed out on. He won it that first year. Jude Bellingham won it. We all know about him. Andreas. Wait a minute. If you watch my... Oh, right. If you watch my Sheffield Wednesday rebuild, my last live com, I'm sure he's at Southampton because it's that name. And I gave away 3 penalties and he scored all 3 penalties. I'm freaking sure it is with that name. That name just reminds me of it. Yeah. He's not ended up on Southampton here though, has he? I've now jumped back to the very beginning. So this is that same shortlist, but where it all began. Now I'm going to put a download for this shortlist in the description. All you got to do is it'll be a little white folder file. Once you've downloaded it, go into Sports Interactive folder and go into the game folder, and you'll find there'll be a little folder somewhere called shortlist. Stick it in that and you'll be able to load it up. If you want to look at them, you can have a look through the players I used and maybe use it at the beginning of a save to look through maybe some of the cheaper options that maybe you can buy yourself. I mean, this lad here, he looks quite cheap. He ended up being the best goalie, I think. And a lot of these lads still did okay. Switch the value back round though. Wesley Fofana at Leicester. If you're a Leicester fan, is he really that good? He turned in to a superstar, but he was the usuals, wasn't it? Pedri, Fati, definitely good. Alphonso Davies becomes an absolute beast of a player. And him, I'm sure, I don't know if it's changed now, but you can pick him up on a free, I think, after 1 season. I nearly did it with Brentford. Might have changed now though, but you can get your hands on him. I think you'll have a striker for your entire save. But it wasn't just about the Wonderkid players. I really wanted my Wonderkid manager to do well, and he's not had a bad career, to be fair. So I thought I'd finish off by looking at the man himself, Luke Skywalker, who got sacked at Wonderkid, which is unfortunate. He went to Porto for 3 years, then he spent a short period at Borussia Dortmund, and then he's been at Man United now for a season, and he's amazing, isn't he? Luke Skywalker, may the force be with you. So there you go, that is the end of Wonderkid Wanderers. Thank you for checking it out. I don't know how many people are going to watch this. I just wanted to share with you a little bit of what happened to the club, show how some of the players turned out. Can't go through all of them. I will put the shortlist down below, like I said. If you want to use it in one of your saves, you can keep it there. Maybe you can use it somehow. But yeah, I was a bit disappointed. I thought, especially when I saw how long some of the players stayed there, I thought they could have built something, and especially with managers like Pep, Thomas Tuchel, whatever you want to say his name. Yeah, it's a bit disappointing really, but you know, it is what it is. I still enjoyed it, still enjoyed seeing how they did work, but as always, I'm more of a regen man myself. I tend to shy away from real Wonderkids at the start of a game. I like to build a club, get to the regen bit, and then find my own little gems that are just mine and nobody else's. But thank you, really do appreciate you watching it. Hopefully you hit the thumbs up and go check out my other videos, my rebuild that's currently on with Sheffield Wednesday, any of my other stuff, my race videos, which we've got a brand new one coming out very soon. Can't wait for that one, it's quite cool I think. Anyway, stay happy, stay safe and booed. Bye bye.